You have to ask yourself, like, if I don't want to be in the camera and I don't have no money to invest in somebody to be in front of the camera, then what are you going to do?
Yeah. Coming up on the Melanin Money Show.
Because being a CEO is super ghetto. Most people that start businesses don't have bread. Don't necessarily get stifled by like your amount of creativity or feel like you can't do it because you don't have the budget. Gotcha. There is stuff that you can do that you can do a campaign for $100.
Behind the scenes, she is a workhorse. Like, she gets it done. And for that, like, I mean, I don't know what other proof you need to put in that she is the best. Welcome back to another episode of the Melanin Money Show. And we got a very, very special guest. My friend, my sister, my OG client, Marketing by Monrae. I'm not going to say our government name.
Because you be trying to tell all my business.
Marketing by Monrae. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How y'all feeling?
Hey, man, long overdue. Overdue. So glad to have you on the show. Carter, how you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm happy about this episode. I've been wanting
to. My ass a little bit.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, it's just like it's a whole lot of action for a friend today. So like, if you see me taking over, it's because I got some questions.
I'm just sitting back like, okay. But nah, so y'all, for those of you, I mean, if y'all have been following me on social media for any period of time, you know about my relationship. I almost did it.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. It's like he almost tried to do it on purpose.
But marketing, I don't know why she doesn't always say her government name. But but Marketing by Monrae, and because I'm always just so amazed by all the things she's been able to do, the woman that she's evolved into, the entrepreneur that she's evolved into. So many of y'all might hear her tell the story. I think she was just recently on Donnie's podcast about how she went from $168,000 to $1 million in her business.
Yes.
And so the funny story is, like, she, even back then, she was trying to like get the right people on the team and knew that she needed help. And so she reached out to me. She DM'd me, and I think on Instagram originally, or emailed me or something. And she was just like, "Yeah, I'm about to blow up. I'm doing this. I'm doing that." I'm like, okay, I mean, it sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear you.
Yeah.
I was like, but something about her energy, like, I believed her. And sure enough, I remember like it was yesterday. Was it just like early December or late November when you crossed over that $1 million threshold? You called me. It was like we was hype on the phone.
Yes.
I feel like I had just got the deposit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she did it. She did everything that she said she was gonna do. Like we talked about in our last episode, for every action, there's opposite equal reaction, right? There's just so much that goes into going from a entry level 6-figure business to a 7-figure business literally overnight. So we're gonna unpack some of that stuff on the episode. But like for those of you who don't know, who Marketing by Monrae is.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about who you are, how you got started.
Well, I am so excited to be here, guys. But I am Marketing by Monrae, guys. I am a marketing strategist and business development coach. Ultimately, I help people create addictive, revenue-generating campaigns. And my goal is just really to help entrepreneurs make marketing simple. Like, it doesn't have to be hard. It's just numbers. And we just got to do the work.
Big facts. And that's one thing that's unique about you, because you do such a great job with the storytelling and the creative and the visuals. A lot of people might not know is you are very scientific when it comes to the strategy and the campaigns that drive the high level visuals that people see. Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about like what that looks like, right? So if someone comes to you and they're like, "Oh, I got this great idea, or I want to like do this marketing campaign." What are some of the numbers and the metrics that people need to be thinking about? They want to have success online, because people just think it's, I'll post my page and click link in my bio, or maybe they're advanced and they say comment awards and they think that like everybody's gonna take their offer. But what are some of those like those things that go into making these offers and just like these campaigns successful?
One thing that I love about marketing is that it is all numbers, right? And you can either love that or hate it, but I know like y'all love that, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter about your energy, how excited you are about it. It's literally the numbers behind it. And so that's what I respect about it. But for the metrics that you should be looking at, the first thing is the traffic, right? Like we have our 8-step method, but the first thing that I tell people is create your $1 million plan, right? Which we coined the name, but it's basically just forecasting your traffic. And being able to understand how many people you need to get to the site, and then what actions do you need to take to get those people to the site, right? And even, I don't necessarily always talk about this to my students, because this kind of can go over their head. But when I talk about it on the agency side, we're planning out even how many people need to see your marketing, and each platform has a different conversion rate. You convert differently. It's Carter.
Okay. We're getting there. I start sitting up in my chair like, let's talk, okay?
I love it here. Yeah. So, each platform got a different conversion rate based on your business. And so that's why I always tell people, like, you got to try stuff. Because your Instagram platform may convert differently than your TikTok. Right. A lot of people don't understand that TikTok is the top of funnel platform, so your conversion on sales is a lot lower, right? So to say the least, like, you just got to understand your numbers so that you can print money on demand literally when you understand the numbers.
Okay. So speaking my language. Yeah. So you mentioned something about an 8-step method, and I don't want you giving away too much, but like, can you just dive into somebody's entrepreneur said, like, all right, what is it, 8 steps? Like, what does that 8-step method look like to be kind of unpacked?
It's a free game, right? Okay. So we call it the SMC method, so the strategic marketing campaign method. Okay. And so the first step is focus product. You got to have a focus. Like, if you were just focusing on this black shirt, like, that's it. Don't be trying to sell the black shirt, the pink shirt, the orange shirt. Like, just sell the one thing so you can create the story and the dialogue and the messaging around it. Okay. Then move on to step 2, which is concept and strategy. You got to have a message, because a lot of times people don't get messaging through your words or what you're saying in your captions. They get it visually. So you need them to eat with their eyes, right? So you want to have a concept, but you also need a strategy. You need that $1 million plan. Then you move on to phase 3, which is mapping it out, right? So a lot of people ask me, like, how do I do all of these campaigns? How do you get all of this content? Well, I spend more time on paper than I do
behind the camera.
Yeah. Okay. And so I write down everything. If I need 3 posts on 3 different platforms, I need to write it all out. I need to identify everything that we need to actually go out to the public. Then we move on to phase 4, which is creating the content. That's us actually recording the visuals. That's us writing the emails. That's us writing the text messages. That's us actually capturing all of the things, right? And then we move on to phase 5, which is the launch, right? So if you have a launch activity, which everyone should, which is, it could be an IG live launch, it can be a webinar or a challenge or whatever, but you have some type of launch activity that you're driving traffic to. And then as you start to launch and execute, you monitor. You got to monitor the results that you said that the goal was.
People don't do that.
No, you don't go back and look. You post and pray. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
post, pray, and pray. Yeah.
Right, I hope my rent gets paid this month. You got to have strategy. So then after phase 6 is phase 7, which you pivot. A lot of people, they look at the results and they be like, okay, well, that's what happened. Like, nah, like, if it worked, double down on it. If it didn't work, change it. You know what I mean? And then phase 8 is analyze. At the end of the campaign, looking at everything from bird's eye view, documenting it, and then pushing on to the next campaign.
That makes so much sense, because it's almost like that's how you create your formula, right?
Yep.
To ultimately know, like, what is dialed in. But if you don't test and if you don't pivot and you don't double down, then you'll never be able to, like, make those tweaks.
I'm texting you all the things we need to do better. So if you just get all these text messages, I'm taking my notes. Yeah.
And honestly, like, one thing that I tell companies, especially when you start working at a high level, like, this is the way that your marketing team should be working, right? Like, our team knows, all right, y'all, we have finished phase 3. It's time to go to phase 4. Yeah. Right? Like, your project should be moving like this, right? Yeah. And so it's a mixture of, like you said, I am very creative, but we're highly organized when it comes to creating campaigns, but we are also very strategic when it comes to the numbers.
Yeah, and that's a rare find. It's usually either or. It's usually like you find somebody who can create the visuals and the aesthetics and the vibe and all that, and then somebody else maybe who's behind the scenes who can do, like, the strategy and the numbers. But to be able to, like, literally, bro, like, the reason why, now I know I seem like Superman sometimes, but with this campaign that we just did, the only reason why I was able to happen is because I was able to just, like, this is what I want, this is in my head, here you go. Yeah. After that, I had zero. When I say zero involvement, I had zero involvement. I may send one voice note like, hey, I thought this was dope. What do you think about this? But even that wasn't like a mission critical change. So to be able to have somebody or a team. Yeah. Speaking of which, maybe unpack that for us. Like, if someone is a growing company, right? They're like, okay, I'm bigger than a social media, just having a social media manager. I'm bigger than having somebody who can build a funnel here and there. Yeah. What would you say are the key components of a robust, well-oiled marketing department? What do you need?
That's a good question. So first, it starts with the CEO, because the CEO actually should be running the marketing department. Even if you have a CMO or someone over the department, but the ideas have to come from the visionary, right? Like, I got to know where you going, right? So after that, you have to kind of know, like, based on your CEO, what their strengths and weaknesses are. If their strengths is creative, right? Like, you're a super creative person. So Georgia hit me with a 5-minute voice memo.
That's how, we don't have time to talk about that today. But like, he's consistent.
Listen, I'm so happy they put it on 2x speed. So now, like, you can go,
y'all speeding. That's y'all speeding through.
Like, I can hear it fast. I was like, okay, I can get through this 5 minutes in 2. I got it, right? But depending on what the CEO has, you fill in those gaps, right? So if your CEO is more creative, then you kind of want your CMO to be creative, but you also need them to be more strategic, right? So you should have somebody running the department. Depending on the type of company that you have, like if we're talking about an e-commerce company, you need somebody on the back end of the site, right? And I tell people that you staff based on the customer journey. And a lot of people don't think like that, right? And we talked about this a little bit. The first part of the customer journey, Carter's face is so funny.
No, I mean, like this is your last question, by the way. Okay, this is not my phone is full, but go ahead.
But the customer journey has 5 steps, right? First step is visibility. I gotta be seen. If enough people can't see you, enough people can't pay you, right? So you need people there. These people are actually gathering the leads. This is your social media manager. This is your content creator. These are your people that's creating TikToks and all of those, your models and stuff like that. Then you need someone in the nurture phase. You got to have someone on email. So you're going to have a copywriter. You're going to have someone on emails. You probably have in visibility. You'll probably also have an ads person too. Then in nurture, you want to have a set of team members. And then in purchase, you need someone that understands Shopify or your website or the funnels, so that they can always be looking at, how can I make the conversion rate better? How can I, like, everybody has a KPI in every phrase, right? Like my visibility, on our visibility team, they literally have a KPI of, which is a key performance indicator. They have to get 100 leads a day. Like, I don't care how y'all do it, build, borrow, buy, right? Like that's the way you get traffic. So 100 leads a day.
Build, borrow, or buy. So you build. Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Like,
yeah. I'm trying to take notes, ask questions, and get the game. So
like you can't rewatch the episode on your channel.
It's too good right now. So building your own list, building your own, borrow other people's stages, other people's audiences, or buy using ads.
That's the most eloquent way of saying thinking about it. That's build, borrow, buy. I like that.
I mean, because that's the only way you can get traffic. That's it. So when you staff in that visibility phase, you want to think about that. Who's building, who's borrowing, who's buying, right? And like, what does that look like? And then how we have our lead generation. So even on our lead generation side, which is our visibility part of the department, who's now, once we have those 100 leads, once they go in to be nurtured, do we have appointment setters? Do we have people to convert them on sales calls? Depending on the type of offer. If it's e-com, it's a little bit different. So just thinking about like that customer journey, and you staff based on the journey of the customer is virtually basically want to walk your customers through your store, right? Like hold their hand to see me, then I can nurture you, then I want to purchase, and then they go to the end of the journey, which is experience and community.
Experience and community.
Okay. So you mentioned the 8 steps. So I want to like break down some of the steps that I think that the audience can use more clarity on. So you mentioned the launch phase. What is your favorite launch strategies, or your favorite or more successful launch strategies that you've seen? Because people out there have products they want to launch. And I've seen the biggest mistake is people spend the months developing the product, the e-com, the masterclass, the course. And they say, go buy it. And people are like, what are you even selling?
What's happening?
What's happening right now? And my first launch, I sold nothing. Like 5 years ago, I was like, I'm never selling a course again. George had to drag me back into e-com. I was so jaded because I didn't have a launch strategy. So can you dive deeper on that?
So there's different type of launches, right? Like you got our basic, and we teach, so in our school of marketing, that's what we teach, like people how to launch. And so our basic launch is the Instagram live launch. That's it. You know, like just come on live and you're going to, but you utilize all the launches the same way. We're going to tell people like this live is on the 13th. We're going to get signups. We're going to lead generate to this particular live.
Versus just like logging on and just like helping people show up.
Correct. Yeah. Like when we did an Instagram live launch with the $1 Million Planner, the new one that came out.
Nice.
And so when we did it, we sent out postcards and told people like, hey, like come to our launch party. Like everybody wear fancy clothes. Like this was during the pandemic.
Okay. I'm like, but like everybody had to just dress up to stay and be in the house. Yeah.
Right. So like wear fancy clothes. We had on furs, okay, on the launch party. But it was fun. And you got a postcard with my picture on it. And I done just did this campaign. I done turned into Beyonce. Like it made you want to show up, right? And then we sold out of the planner. So you got
on a live. I need y'all to understand that's not normal. Okay, like okay, and what's a timeline? A good launch timeline? 7 days. I know it depends on the product, but like if you have to give an average, how long should people be like building awareness before the launch?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So it depends on the type of launch. Okay. So you got the Instagram live launch, then after that is a webinar, right? And then once you have perfect the webinar, then you can go into a challenge. And then after you perfect the challenge, you can go into like the webinar challenge mix, and then you can do events.
That's my cup of tea right there.
Yeah. But it's like the same thing. If you never figure out how to go live, like why are you trying to do a 5-day challenge?
Yeah.
Like you don't even
go
know
live
how to
for 90 minutes for 5 days.
Yes, exactly. So that's why it's like a stair step, right?
1000%.
But as far as the awareness goes, I tell people if you don't have an audience, spend 3 to 4 weeks, like just promoting it, get it, going back to that build, borrow, buy, like thinking about how am I getting traffic, and then when it comes to the numbers in your strategy, you can literally understand how many people need to register, how many people need to show up, how many people need to convert, so you can make the money once again, print money on demand.
Dope.
Okay. So now that we have a launch strategy, a month if you don't have an audience, maybe a little bit less if you do have an audience.
Yeah, like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, and then you need to, depending on where you are in your business journey, it's the difficulty of a launch you're going to have, because if you don't know how to work Zoom webinar or webinar jam, then you can't do a challenge like that.
And I think you really should start, like, regardless because some people like, I already made $1 million, but you ain't never did no launch, so start at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like, start so you can get there's a reason why there's steps to this.
Right. Okay, so when it comes to getting the awareness and the traffic, right, how do you market through the noise of today's environment? Or what's some great strategies that you have to help build awareness to get the people? Because like when I tell people to get a digital marketing game, their biggest fear is nobody showing up. So what are some ways they can build awareness? I know you said build, borrow, buy, or can you like expand on like how do you do this if it was a person trying to make their first launch? Yeah,
I think it goes, babe. That's a good question, because a lot of people are scared, like nobody's coming, right? Yeah. But that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay for your first launch that 2 people came. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta get the repetition of being able to do it over and over again. A lot of people stop too soon. But when it comes to awareness, our thing is creating those addictive, like scroll stopping campaigns.
Okay.
Like right now we for Black Friday we did a P-Valley campaign. You like Monrae on the pole? Like that is crazy, right? Like what?
Hey, you did a what?
it's a show called P-Valley.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like, what is it like? It's based off like, what is it?
Yes, it's based in Mississippi. You never seen? You don't watch TV?
I don't watch TV.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that didn't land with you. So
You went to Target.
I was at the Target. It's all good.
No, but P-Valley is a show that a lot of people watch, and it's basically based on like this. It's a strip club. It's based out of a strip club.
Okay.
And so we utilize that campaign. So there is a guy that's on there, and he runs the strip club or whatever. He always has these rules. And so as I was coming up with my rules for like marketing for the Black Friday trial that we had, I was like, oh, this sound like P-Valley. This sound like Uncle Clifford. And I was like, oh, we finna do a P-Valley campaign. And so not that I was actually spinning, because I can't do all of that. But, you know, like, but just to see that, it's like, what is Monrae doing? You know what I'm saying? And so it makes you stop. And it doesn't have to be like you recreate a TV show or whatever. It just needs to make you like stop scrolling.
Good job. Good job on the campaign we just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how you market through the noise, being different and original.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
I told you gonna be proud.
Yeah, with this campaign. Oh no, he texted me. He texted me. I called and said, bro,
one of them ones.
This is one of them ones. This is one of them ones.
And that's the thing of like you said about like a CEO being creative. Like what I like about it is like, one, I have a partner who loves marketing, right? So like from an execution standpoint, it's like I don't have to do everything myself,
right?
And then now that we're working together, like someone who can actually do the thing, right? It's like, okay, look, how do we get this from idea to execution? Yeah. But for someone who maybe doesn't have like the financial resources yet to like hire somebody to have a team, like what are some things that they can do on a fundamental level, right, to create campaigns that are addictive, right, and penetrate through the noise? I
think the first thing is like you gotta tap into you, right? Yeah. Like the addictive part of that nobody else is doing is something that's related to you, right? So if you love church, girl, do you a scripture Tuesday? You know what I mean? Like, do you something that relates to you that you can relate to your brand? And we used to do campaigns in the house, right? Like I want people to understand that this was the pandemic. Like all of this stuff that I was doing was in the house with my iPhone, me and my partner, right? And so the first campaign we did was a birthday campaign, and I literally
I remember that one.
Yeah, like I literally got some pancakes from McDonald's. I ordered them from Uber Eats. I put the pancakes up, put some birthday candles in, and I did videos of blowing it out. Giving them different tips. I put a little background up in the house. Like I did all of this in the crib, you know? So I'm saying this, and I also want people to not use the excuse of I'm not creative. Right. I go on Pinterest and I find pictures and I just recreate them. I literally, like I'm like, this the mood board. This what we gonna do. This, you know, like I see it visually, but I have to like see it for me to create it because I don't want to go and have the photographer think that they see what I'm doing. You know, like I need to actually show them like this is an example. Right. So I think those are some of the things, like don't necessarily get stifled by like your amount of creativity or feel like you can't do it because you don't have the budget. Gotcha. There is stuff that you can do that you can do a campaign for $100. But I also want people not to get caught up on just the concept. You remember that was only phase 2. It was 8 steps. Yeah. The concept ain't the campaign. The strategy is the campaign, right? Like, so you got to keep doing the rest of the steps to get people to stop scrolling too.
1,000%. So do you feel like there are seasons for marketing strategies or campaigns, or do you feel like you can do the same marketing all year? Because like, you know, back in the day, I feel like social media was so easy to market on in 2020 because everybody was in their phone, right? Now Instagram is not going to push your content out to that many people right now because they're trying to recoup their money from ad spend. So like, do you feel like there are seasons for different marketing campaigns? And if so, what have you seen like for the last 3 to 6 months that has really been working from a campaign standpoint?
I think from a campaign standpoint, and I say campaign, right? Like we use the word campaign, but a campaign is nothing but a launch, right? Yeah. And so the definition of a campaign is the organized course of actions to achieve a goal. It didn't say anything about like their creativity. It didn't say you spend money. It just said you need to be organized and have a goal, right? So I say that to say you should always be in campaign regardless, right? And the only difference that I've seen in the last 3 to 6 months is like you just have to show up more, right? Because they're not showing it to everybody at all, right? So instead of me thinking like, oh, I could just post one time a week, like I gotta stay on their necks because I don't know when my stuff gonna get shown. So let me just keep going, and then I have to be creative. I have to also be adaptable. I think when people think about social media marketing, they're just not adaptable enough. It's always changing, and you have to keep testing stuff out. Like there's one season that TikTok may do well, or Instagram or Facebook or whatever. You just got to be able to roll with the punches.
That makes sense. One thing that I was thinking about is like, so there's so many people who like, they say, I don't like being in front of the camera. And they might have a great idea. They might have a great product. They might have a great service. But then you do think of people like Phil Knight who own Nike, and no one knows who Phil Knight is, but they know who Jordan and Serena is. Right. What would you say to the entrepreneur who has a great product, has a great service, but it just isn't in their personality, they feel like, to be in front of the camera?
Yeah, so I think it depends, right? One, this might not sound nice, but I don't think everybody should own the business. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm a coach. Yeah. I don't think
everybody should not own a business. We can all agree that and say
that. Like, everybody don't have to own a business. Like, you can invest in a business if you have to ask yourself, and people may not want to hear this, but you have to ask yourself, like, if I don't want to be in the camera, in front of the camera,
perspective.
And I don't have no money to invest in somebody to be in front of the camera,
that part,
then what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Nothing. So why not just invest in somebody else's business? Right? Like, come on, if you're more strategic person, see somebody's business and become their COO, or like tap into them, and then you can
have your business within somebody's business.
Yeah. So why do you have to own a business if you have nothing to give to this business?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of my perspective, because I do understand, like, you can have the influencers and the, but you got to have money for that. And most people that start businesses don't have bread. So it's like,
and if you're not willing to get in front of the camera,
then it's like, just don't do it.
The way I always look at it is like, do it to the extent of like being able to leverage yourself. Like I literally sent you a voice note on this, right? So I was like, I understand that we got to penetrate the noise. I understand that there's, because my business is so financial driven, like it only makes sense for me to go crazy on content next year, right? And like leverage myself.
Tell him. Right. Tell him.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm the CEO, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But to leverage my business, like these are the things I know, right? But it's like, at the same token, I don't feel like we would have been able to do what we've done over the past several months if I didn't like dig deep on like infrastructure.
No, 1,000%. 1,000%.
But I know now that I feel confident.
But 2024.
I feel confident. I'm like, okay, cool. Like now I'm going to leverage myself, right? To be able to do it. So I think it's like, at minimum, you have to be willing to leverage yourself to get the business to a certain point. And I do think there's an inflection point where you can have more ambassadors or spokespeople who can lead, and you can kind of like, fade to black. But if you're not willing to do that for the business that you say you care about, then I think, what are we talking about?
Hey, aren't you tired of buying courses in those emotional states when you want to get a result, but then you actually don't do anything with the course? Do you know on average, the completion rate for a course is about 2%? But here's the thing, it's not entirely your fault. The problem is you buy the course, but you don't have access to the source who actually created it.
See, that's why we're doing something different. With the Melanin Millionaire Club, you're not just gonna get access to courses. You'll get access to the people who created it, so you can get your questions answered. Because it's not just about learning, it's about taking that information so you can start earning. So the Melanin Millionaire Club is gonna give you access to courses, but not just that, it's an entire university of information. We have financial flicks, we have hundreds of previous recordings, but more than that, y'all, we have an amazing community of people just like you who are trying to become a first generation millionaire. So like GA said, like, you can survive without community, but you can't thrive without community. So this is the place you need to be, right?
100%, because here's the thing. If it was just about information, we'd all be billionaires with six packs. So that's why every single Monday, we're going to set the tone for your week with Melanin Millionaire Mondays, where our entire community is going to meet up. The energy is going to be high. We're going to set the intention for what we're going to execute on so we can move the needle forward, and Carter and I and the rest of our team can keep you accountable.
So that's enough information. You see the rest in the club. All you got to do, click the link below, sign up, and start your journey to your first millionaire year. Let's get it, man.
Let's go.
No, you shouldn't, and it's okay. Like, I understand that you don't like the camera, right? But like you said, if you're not willing to leverage yourself, then what other options do you have? You don't have the money to hire nobody. So it's like, what other options do you have?
If you don't like camera, you don't like money. Like I just tell, I don't even give them an excuse. Like, if you don't want to get in the camera, then you don't want money, because if they don't know you, they can't flow you, right? If they don't know who you are, how can they pay you?
Right.
So it's extremely important to get in front of the camera as much as possible to be able to sell your product.
Unless you got money to.
Yeah. So speaking of that, free media versus paid media. What's your perspective on that? Like, how much free media should somebody be doing, as far as content to build lists, and how much, or when should people start paying for ads? And do you have a kind of opinion on how you would coach somebody if they came to you and say, Monrae, should I do free content, should do paid ads, and what's the split, and how do I, It
goes back to that $1 million plan, right? So when our $1 million plan maps out how many customers that you need. Okay. And then it says how much website traffic that you need, and then how many people need to see your marketing, right? So if you're looking at this amount of website traffic, and we're looking on your Instagram, and the analytics is telling us that you only getting X amount of people to see your marketing, X amount of people to go to the website, you don't have any relationships to leverage. You only have, the only other option is to buy traffic, right? And so that's my reality point for a lot of entrepreneurs, because when I do that $1 million plan with them, they like, I ain't doing enough. Like, that's why I'm not making the goals that I said I want to make. Yeah, you can say you want to make $100,000, but did you have enough traffic for that? Right. And so that's when you understand, like, when do you do build, borrow, buy?
So let's do an exercise, if you're willing to do it. So I am a business owner.
Yes.
I want to make $100,000 on this next launch.
Okay.
My product is $1,000.
Okay.
Right. So
Get my little cap.
yeah, that's like that'd be a dope exercise, right, for the
Okay,
audience,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So I want to make $100,000 on this launch. My product is $1,000, so I need to sell 100 units or 1,000 units? 100 units? What's that? Add the zeros, $1,000.
I thought y'all was the
Yeah, 100 units, 100 units. My bad. Yeah. I know. To be honest, we aim for way higher in our launches. So So I want to have $100,000 launch. My product is $1,000, and I, have 10,000 followers. So I don't have a big audience, and maybe I'm only being able to organically reach 10,000 people a month.
Okay, cool. Okay. So, and I'll break it down. So that means you need 100 people to buy your products, right? So the average conversion rate is between 1% and 3%.
Okay. For $1,000 product.
No, just period.
Okay, period. Okay.
So let's just say 1% to be safe, right? So that means we need 10,000 people to come to the website. Right?
Okay.
10,000 people need to come to the website so that 100 of them give you $1,000.
Okay.
Got it? So then now the next thing is like, how many people need to see your marketing? And so we use that same conversion rate across the board, right? Okay. So if that's the 1%. So I need 1 million people to see my marketing. Right? You only got 10,000 followers. So now we can go in the back end and see your impressions on the average of a month if the campaign is for a month, right? And we say, okay, you posted 30 times during the month, you reached 10,000 people. That ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? We're going to need you to post 60 times so you can reach 20,000 people. And then we're going to minus that. And we're going to say, we still got 980 left. So you got some borrowed traffic. You got a friend with some followers that you could post on and go live with. You got a podcast you could go on. You got something else you can do. No, okay, we're gonna have to spend money.
And then that also lets me know. So when I go to my ads person,
come on.
Hey, look, we need 980,000 impressions. Yes. Let me know how much I need to spend per day to get that. Yes. I don't do this, dog.
Yes, but now, because people come to you and be like, "Well, how much should I spend on ads?" You need to spend enough to get to 980,000 people. So go in the back end of your ads manager and see
how much that's gonna cost.
Come on now.
So now you go to a launch. It's not a guess.
It's not a guess. We printing money on demand.
She said it. Hey, look, if you want, I told you we working with her all 22.
Yeah. No, literally, when we go out of here, I don't know what your hour. I'm paying you whatever it costs. We go sit down for an hour just as a start. So I'm zelling you or wiring you before we leave out of here. Period. Because I'm a good marketer, but I am not. I go into launch mode, bull rush.
Yeah.
Run through that. Let's imagine it's a brick wall.
Yeah,
he's gonna get through it. He's gonna run through it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Or I could have just got in the construction vehicle. I could have just went around. But so we do hit our line. But it's always it's a hope and a guess and a work ethic. But there's not enough science because then it takes the pressure off you.
Yeah,
this is gonna be at least $100,000 launch.
You also can look at it from the sense of oh, I see that you're not getting to that 980. Oh, spend some more, spend less.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now you know what levers to pull based on the plan that you started with. But that's the gap and most entrepreneurs not going to go this deep, honestly, right? But as a marketer, it's if I got the numbers, then I know what needs to happen, right? I can even look at that and say, okay, on Instagram, we're going to get this many. On TikTok, we're going to get this many. On YouTube, and the more launches you do, that's why I say you got to be consistent. We can dial in on them numbers. On emails, we can get this many people to register. We can dial in on the numbers, but you just got to know the numbers.
Not to mention whoever's over the marketing team, because they're looking at the back end, can then influence creative decisions hey, look, you need to do 7 more of these posts because if you want to get your impression go more organically and not to spend as much, this is what the data is telling us.
Correct.
Jesus Christ.
Correct. And even to the sense of now we're talking about managing a team, I can tell you exactly what your goal needs to be. And so you know why you failed. Yeah. You know why you're not a good social media manager. Yeah. I don't have to guess, I don't have to feel. I can look at the data and know what's going on.
Because my next question was I was going to ask was what should your KPIs for your team be every day, every month? But it just depends on what the campaign is, what the launch is. So if your KPI is 980,000 impressions, that's your KPI, bro. And if you don't make it, during the launch, you don't wonder why you're fired.
Yes.
Because this was your job.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Boy, when I tell you she cold as ice, boy.
Nah, man, I thought I was good, bro. I'm hooping with Tim's on right now.
I literally told her the same thing. When she sent me the link to the Shopify, I said, what the fuck is going on? I was like, we've been getting it done. We've been winning. Yeah. But man, I've been fucking playing with Timberlands.
Yeah. And no socks. Feet bleeding.
Like, that's why.
No, seriously, y'all at home, man. Like, if you, this is $1 million worth of game right now. Like literally, and I'm learning. Like, so I know like new entrepreneurs, like, yo, what is happening right now? Jesus Christ, I don't know.
It's relevant to when it's relevant, right? So it's like the reason why we're like she's blowing our head off is because these small these levers that you can pull,
hundreds of $1,000s per month.
Yeah, these are decisions that can dramatically change the course of your, which is on your end easy to quantify your value.
Oh shit!
Because you come in, it's like, okay, hey, you said you want to do this. This is what you're doing currently. We do these tweaks. This is gonna be the difference. Yeah. My fee is a drop in the bucket at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the business and the product and the offer and all the other things that come with it, then it's not gonna make sense. So if you're an entrepreneur and you have you have a solid offer, right? But you just aren't understanding the back end, right? Sounds like you could really help somebody in that way if they're ready.
And this is honestly, and I know like somebody, y'all just gonna have to watch this again, right?
Yeah, a couple times, run it back.
I'm watching, bro. Can we get this uploaded yesterday, bro?
Access to the raw footage.
So you can really tap in, but I think that if you're a new entrepreneur, you just starting, what I want you to take away from this is the consistency of launching and then just understanding the $1 million plan, right? And even if you don't go all the way to like the marketing numbers, right? Like what happens, because I normally don't tell people that until they get to like a 7 to 8 figure business because you ain't dialed in enough, right? But even if you could just see, because you could go back into your Instagram analytics and see your website taps, right? And how many people are actually coming to the website, right? And so you just want to dial in on how much traffic you're getting to the site, regardless of what type of business you have, service-based, whatever, but just understanding your launch numbers. If you're a service-based business, maybe your numbers are more so how many calls you need to get booked, right? If you're an e-com business, you can go in the back end of Shopify and it'll tell you what that traffic looks like from what platform. But I just want y'all to get your numbers and understand the consistency of just launching.
Yes. Yeah. So one thing that we learned recently this year that transformed our philosophy on business is that ascension leads to retention, right? Being able to basically the art of perpetual problem creation, right? Yeah. So because you're so great at what you do, but I also know you teach, like, what are the different levels that you are currently working with people from, like a low ticket product all the way to like the agency? Can you kind of explain like the different levels that people can tap in with you in your business?
So we have our coworkers community. So let's start from the top of the ladder. It's the Ghetto CEO podcast, because being a CEO is super ghetto. And so that is like our visibility play, like how we're getting people in, lead generating. And so from there, we have the coworkers community. The coworkers community is a completely free community, but there are local chapters in different cities. So you can join the coworkers community, and then from there, once you're like, I'm ready to learn, right? Like I'm ready to actually apply the things Monrae is teaching. You join the Millionaire Mob University. If you're making under $10,000 a month, then you should join School of Marketing. You're making over $10,000 a month, you join our Millionaire Mastermind. I only take 10, maybe 15 students because
per month?
No, per year. It's a year-long program. Only because I love the agency and we're scaling the agency. Once that fills up, then I can't do no more one-on-one. And I coach them one-on-one. Okay. And so then if you are, I always say at least 7 figures or more, you should then look into the agency. And so on the agency side, we either can come in and teach your team, or we can actually do the strategy and we can be on your team. Now, I only take 2 CMO clients, which I'm like running the department. But those slots are filled.
Okay. So our only option is to see the agency.
I was asking, I was like, yo, do we got that lot?
Yes. Y'all wanted the 2.
Okay. Put a bid in. Don't worry. I'll put it in. I was like, I've already put a bid in.
So I help actually do the department, but other than that, we do your campaigns and stuff, and it's a done for you strategy. That whole 1 to 8 steps, we map that out, and then we execute it and we monitor it for you.
Okay. Yeah, that is.
It's so quantifiable. That's what I love about it. Because we are numbers guys, right? So it's like, with this year, us having to hire more people and doing all it's like things can slip through the cracks. But like this is so quantifiable, not only from a vantage point of like you running the department, but also like, oh, you're telling me that this is that person's KPI, and now I don't have to worry about wondering if they're good or not because you're telling me they're not good, right? Or they're crushing it, and it just forces people to like level up because it's one thing to get something done, right? If your social media manager is posting consistently, that's amazing, right? They're showing up. But going from a 7-figure business to a low 8-figure to a multi 8-figure business, it's not about just showing up. It's not about running through brick walls. It's about dialing things in, tweaking things, optimizing, and you got to have the best players on the team to win the game.
I literally said that this year. I'm like, this year we winning a championship. And you don't decide that you winning a championship the first game, right? Like you start building your championship team years before, right? And so you have to know that the people on your team can, like, I need to depend on LeBron to do what LeBron do, right? But you got to know what this person can do, and if they can't do it, then you got to move them out the way.
It's nothing personal, right? It's like this is the.
It is never once you have the quantifiable numbers. It's no longer personal.
It's no longer
this is the measuring stick of success, and it also helps nail the guardrails for everybody, right? So it's like, hey, look, forget what you thought mattered. This is the measuring stick of success. So if we're not doing that, all the other stuff that you thought was cute, but like we're not winning. Right. So it keeps everybody on their P's and Q's, even us as the creators of the content. So well, you got the team that's doing the back end doing this. We said we needed you to do this organically. Right. So like your KPI as a content creator is to do X. So I just love how quantifiable it is because it just makes it scientific.
And honestly, the reason why I had to do this, and as I started thinking about this, and talking through the process, I think about when my mind started to work like this, and it was when I was a child. I used to go back. I remember playing teacher with myself because I ain't had no kids or no siblings.
I was saying,
no siblings. And so I used to play teacher with myself, and I used to like write out the letters, and I'd be like A plus B equals 23, but A got to do this and B got, like, I used to think like that, right? And so I wanted to create that so that I could take the personal out of the creating the team, right? Because we talked about this, right? Like when I was building my company, it got so personal with everybody, right? Like, Monrae, you don't like me, Monrae this, but I'm like, okay, but now I can show you the numbers and show you why you can't be here anymore. So we've hired and fired over 150 people, but it's based on these numbers because a lot of people don't work off results, they just work off of effort. And so when I hold people to the fire and say like, nah, you gotta hit these numbers, then it's like, oh, I wasn't trying to do all of that, right?
Cool.
And so
this ain't your home.
This ain't the place because we gotta win. We gotta win this championship.
Speaking of holding people to the fire, so the marketing campaign that we're gonna release for the fragrance, right? One of the guys that's supposed to be in the campaign, he had a stroke the morning of the campaign and said, like, they didn't know at the time it was a stroke, right?
No.
He just woke up and said, hey, my vision's kind of blurred. And she's like, well, we can guide you to the so we gotta get this done. She said, we can guide. I can hold your head.
Head to head, get the walking stick.
If your CMO ain't, yo.
I didn't understand, but afterwards I'm like,
yeah, stroke.
My bad.
But that's
yo, that is hilarious. So, what are some mistakes that you see people constantly make that you would like to just give us on this podcast so they avoid them? What's some mistakes you see people constantly make when it comes to their marketing, specifically new business owners? We just went on a whole tangent for like the high level business owners. Some people are like, yo, what are they even talking about?
What?
Yeah. So new business owners, they know they need to market, right? They know they need to get in front of eyeballs. What are some mistakes that you see them make that you want to talk to people about now so that they don't make them ahead of time?
Yeah, two mistakes that I see a lot is one, when you're starting your business or you're doing a new launch, you spend less money on marketing than you spend on products or inventory or whatever, right? Because a lot of people going to Alibaba or whatever, ordering the products is a tangible thing you can hold, so it's exciting. Right,
this thing, my
right,
inventory.
Exactly. You want to take the picture with the boxes, okay? If I see too much inventory, that means you ain't making enough money. Okay?
Get it off the
Why you got all that? Get that out of here. Get that up out of here.
I'm gonna get you out of here.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get them products up out of there.
So you need to understand, like, you gotta spend, like, if you got a $50,000 budget, if you got a $5,000 budget, spend $4,000 on marketing.
Talk to them. People don't want to hear that though.
They
don't want to hear that though.
They come to me last, like, oh well, I got my products.
Yeah,
and I got $5.
Here's what I got left for marketing.
It's the delusion of thinking that Mark Zuckerberg is gonna let you come on this platform and you got 10,000 followers, 20,000, and everybody gonna see it. And all you gotta do is post it and click link my bio because they're gonna be able to just smell the greatness of your product in your post. Get out of here.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. Like I tell people all the time, when we go on Target, like girls, we like to shop in Target all the time, right? He probably on Madge head about shopping.
I had the thought when you said, I was like, Madge probably in Target right now. I just got to Atlanta. You need anything from
Target?
Yeah.
No.
But we like Target, right? But we go on Target, we just be putting stuff in the cart. You see stuff that you seen on Instagram. You like, let me test this out. You have no idea if that product is good or not. Like, that's not what made you buy it. It was the marketing that made you buy it. It is the goodness of the product that made you come back and buy it again. So I don't understand why people spend more time and energy on the product and developing the product or the service, the experience, which is step 4 in the customer journey. Then step 1, which is visibility. Like, you gotta be
they're not gonna get to the experience if they don't.
It's like so cute in your salon. Like, you got leather seats, they massage you and all of that, but ain't no marketing.
It's a paradigm.
Ain't nobody in that job.
It's a paradigm shift that people have to have. Like, I mean, you see people like Grant Cardone say stuff like that, right? And how much they spend on marketing and they don't know you, they can't flow you, but people just have a hard time because it's intangible.
It's intangible.
And it feels risky. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to spend all this money to hope that people, but what you broke down, it's not a hope. It's a strategy.
That's if they knew it wasn't a hope, they wouldn't be scared anymore. The hardest thing for me as an entrepreneur was to spend money on ads. I spent money on building my Instagram page, but spending money on ads is always risky to me because I didn't know the outcome. Right? But to your point, if you have $5,000 in your business and you spend $4,000 on marketing and you have a 2x ROAS, meaning you get 2 times as much as you put back in. Now you get $8,000 back. So now you have $9,000 that you can use some of that to buy more products to get, to sell. So instead of buying 100 units, buy 10 units, market the rest, and then take orders that you don't have and use the money that you make from the orders to buy more products. Exactly. And if you're digital, you don't got to worry about any of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to spend on marketing.
Okay. Got to spend, hence marketing. By Monrae.
She.
Oh my God. Won't be the last. Won't be the last. She said that too eloquently. That will not be the last.
So what are some, I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Okay.
What are some of your predictions for marketing success in 2024? Like, what are some things that people have to do different than they maybe did in 2023? What's gonna work?
So what's gonna work in 2024? That's a good question. So one thing I think that's gonna work is community. So like content that drives community. Like, you need to make sure you have places for people to hang out at. Like, people want to be tied to other people.
Your co-working space.
Yeah, the co-workers, right? Like, the fact that we don't do anything in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk, we talk to each other, we go to brunch, we go eat have mimosas together, but it's like, you just want to be together with people, right? So, gotta have community. I think the other thing, of course, AI. Utilizing AI to be able to really amplify what you're already doing, because I think marketing comes at a fast pace, like you said, like running through the wall. But a lot of people can't run through the wall because they don't have enough team, they don't have enough resources. So utilizing and training AI to do what you.
What's some of your favorite AI platforms? I mean,
I'm a basic AI girl. Okay, I'm a ChatGPT that thing out. Right. So I ain't got into all the different platforms and all the things, but I think you should utilize it. But it's a specific way to do it. So those are my predictions.
Okay. Dude, I got enough, dude. I have no.
And I add this. I was reading an article where they said they were surveying a lot of CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, and they said brand marketing is coming back. And a lot of people have been investing in lifestyle marketing and brand marketing, developing the brand, developing the story, utilizing good quality content is really coming back.
What is your definition of the difference between branding versus marketing? Because most people don't know the difference. Yeah. So like we have to give a understanding to the audience of what branding is versus what marketing is.
Yeah. So my thought process between branding, marketing, sales, like branding is how you look. Marketing is how now that you attracted the person, and sales is now I actually converted you. So I think with brand marketing, it's going to be more about storytelling and the feel-good marketing that we used to see back in the day, right? Instead of this hit it or quit it type of thing.
Right.
Like I think it's going to be like you got to make people feel good.
Yeah, so in your terms, so like it's like not a lot of the. If you're watching this video, like boom, boom, like there has to be a story and like, oh, this makes sense. There was effort put into this, not just you like telling me how good your thing is, and then clicking the link, right?
And I think it's gonna be
That's
a
what
hybrid.
we did yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly what y'all did yesterday. But it's a hybrid, right?
Hybrid,
like,
for sure, yeah.
Yeah, like do a little bit of that, but you're gonna have to really like get people going, right? And it's a lot of like brand marketing agencies coming up. Kendrick Lamar actually has one that he just opened. And so just being able to really tell those stories and amplifying, a lot of these agencies are now amplifying Black voices through content creation.
So essentially what we did with this campaign is that's essentially like brand marketing. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Hey man, everybody able, man.
Yeah.
Everybody.
He been trying to get me on his brand pushing like, bro, if we're not spending money to convert customers, I don't want to hear about it.
I'm so glad this happened because me and her was planning to meet either tomorrow or Monday to basically map out like to get the results, the quantifiable result. And now I was like, we're gonna present that to this thing. I was like, present to the team. I was like, because to his defense, he's a very like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's hard not to be that way if something's working. Right. Like, why would I shift energy away from something? But I know how smart you are, how genius your strategy is. And I know because we're business partners, it's like we have unlimited trust for each other. But having an outside person being able to say like objectively, this is what I see, this is what can happen. I just knew that I would get your buy-in that way. But now.
Yeah, it's just been playing. It's introduced me to her. Like, that's all I needed. Like this podcast is all I needed.
And I think it's a little bit of both. Like if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But I think it's added on, right? Like just do a little bit of more and start to transition.
Yeah, that's the point. He would say, "Dude, we doing this?" I would say, "No." Like because we don't have to. Like you know what I'm saying? But like now. I understand. Like I said, you can do both. If you do this, but this will help amplify what you're already doing.
Because what happens is that brand marketing will help your conversions because now what happens is like you're telling a better story versus like eventually if you punch somebody long enough, you're gonna knock them out.
Yeah.
Right.
But you could have just hit them in the ribs one time. You didn't have to hit them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But you could do both, right?
Yeah.
Keep hitting them, but hitting them with goodness.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then they really are tapped into your community. But also on the other side, which you'll love, that if your content amplifies and gets better, you spend less money on ads.
Spend less money on.
Come on.
And that's essentially what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Right? The better it is, it makes your advertising convert
way higher,
right? Because you have a brand, right? That's the whole thing. The reason why people like even Nike or McDonald's or whoever still spends so much money on brand awareness marketing is because it translates to trust.
Yes.
I don't eat McDonald's. When I went to Shanghai in 2018, I hadn't ate McDonald's like 7 years before that. I ate McDonald's when I got there because if that was the first thing I ate, because I was like, well, at least it's the devil I know.
Yeah.
Brand. So brand will allow you to spend less money on marketing, on the back end, right?
Yeah.
Because ultimately people just know who you are. And they're gonna trust. It's the whole, we hear know, like, trust. They know you. The more they know you, the more they like you, the more they trust you, the easier it is to convert.
Exactly.
And then we make more money.
Yes, and which is why I think that companies are focusing more on brand marketing because they understand, like during the pandemic, you could just hit them on the head one time and they'll spend, right?
Yeah.
But now they understand it's a longer sales process, so now I need to spend more money and more time on the no. Right, because you don't even like me or trust me yet. That's why y'all ain't spending money with me. So if I spend more money on the no, then you will convert into the no like interest.
And then I also feel like when you get back to the brand marketing, like even what we just did yesterday, your words, not mine. He was like, they gonna join this class. It's like if they spent this much effort and money on just to getting us here, like there gotta be something saucy behind it. You know what I'm saying? So like what ends up happening is like it kind of almost expedites the no, right? Because of the quality.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? That's my assumption. Now I got the confirmation. But
Correct.
I mean, I'm excited.
Well, this is the Melanin Money Show.
Yes.
And we talked about the very first thing we said on this episode was how you went from, $168,000 to your first $1 million in your business. From your vantage point and through your evolution, what would you say being a Melanin millionaire means to you?
First of all, when I think about Melanin Millionaire, I feel like it's necessary.
Come on.
Right? Like, I always tell my clients that abundance is your birthright.
Come on.
So you deserve to have all of the money that you want. But for me, it just means that you have to go get what you said you wanted, right? Like I told you that that December of 2019 that I was going to make my $1 million.
You told me.
I ain't know how. I ain't know we would. I just was like, George, I'm making $1 million. And he was like,
And I'm gonna need somebody to help me.
Yeah, I was like, I need somebody to manage my money.
You should get the money first, then come holler at me.
And he was like, okay, you know, and he rocked with me, and I really did it. You know what I mean?
She did so much that year.
So much.
Is this why you was telling me getting the digital? Is this like behind the scenes?
Oh, yeah,
you watching?
see how she was going crazy. I was like, bring your ass back over.
Yeah, I was like, man, I ain't selling no courses, man. I launched and nobody bought, man. I'm a professional.
And I'm just looking at her like, I was just looking like, because I know you knew Ellie before you knew her.
Yeah.
Like from in terms of like going live, like she was the first person I knew that was like consistently packing out lives like back in 2019.
Yeah, I'm like, why y'all going live so much?
Every day.
I'm making X amount of dollars every time I go live.
Every time.
I'm like, I would go live every day too.
And so just to see, like, I literally got to see it happen in real time. I'm like, wait.
You watch her go live, look at the financials, like, yo, what is happening?
It was like, just like this. I was like, wait, so all of last year made 168, and then February is like 110 in the month. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. This is not what? So to see that up close and to see somebody, but to give her credit, whatever you think about her creatively, her execution and her work ethic.
I mean, I seen the video, bro.
Yes, like, So don't get there and think like, oh, if I just go live and I do like, no, I'm telling you, behind the scenes, she is a workhorse. Like she gets it done. I sent her a campaign, and then within 10 days, everything was done, deliverables sent, organized, tested, ready to go. And you would think that, who's the biggest? I don't know, like. You would think Chanel or somebody, whoever, I don't know who's the biggest. Like you would think that they did it for one of their campaigns, and for that, like I don't know what other proof you needed to put in that she is the best in the business. Sorry, you can't be one of her CMO clients. But you can learn from her though. In the Millionaire Mob University, or potentially the Mastermind, depending upon if she has slots available for that.
Okay. No,
or join the community, or join and definitely listen to the podcast.
Run this one back, man.
Yeah.
If you like money, run this one back.
If you like
money, run this one.
It is, right? It is
printing on demand. Did you trademark that yet?
Nope. Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right, y'all. Well, this was another episode of the Melanin Money Show. See you next time.
See you. What else has to be said?
What else has to be said?
Drop the dress. What more can I? Drop that at the end of the episode. Drop that at the end of the episode. But nah, peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.